Everybody to Bad Science Sunday, where we take a comedic approach to debunking bad science on the internet. And I want to thank, I believe, B.S. Lewis, who just rated into us. So, B.S. Lewis, friend of the show. Today we are introducing a whole new friend of the show, Austin Sims. And you know what? I should have given you the first crowd applause. I'm so sorry. So, Austin, people tell me they have no idea who you are. Why don't you let them know?
Hi, everybody. I'm Austin Sims. I'm a biology student in college. I studied physics in college a little bit. I work in biometric data security and analysis and bioinformatics. I am a former mixed martial artist with several wins under my belt, a couple championships, a couple tournaments. I did Taekwondo at the Olympic level before that. I do some marathon running. I love science, and I'm here to do my best to fight anti-intellectualism. So that is the basics of who I am.
That's pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah.
um, so real quick, what is it that you do on your channel?
So mostly I talk about the science of evolution and how creationism and other forms of science denial are kind of doing harm to the human species, and how they cause me concern for the future and well-being of humankind. And I confront a lot of creationist misinformation and arguments, and I have a plethora of scientific data to substantiate evolution that I like sharing with people. That most of my channel is mostly about evolution and creationism. That's why I named myself the Creationism Super Thesis Guy. That's the name of my channel, and that's one of the projects I'm doing. I'm just most people, when they find out about this kind of stuff exists, they do the exact opposite of what I do, which is they turn around and run away from it and are more likely to just disengage from social media entirely. And I must be some kind of a masochist because I did the opposite. I dived really deep into it, joined like every creationism Facebook group I could find. I've argued with as many of the big creationists as I can. You know, I had a debate with Kent Hovind. I had some debates with Ken Ham, with Eric Jewell, with Ken Worth, you know, a bunch of different creationist guys. Some of them are more famous than the others. Like Kent Hovind, I think, is probably the most famous creationist I did a debate with. But yeah, so that is me. That's who I am. That's what I do on my channel.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever even heard of Eric. Eric who?
He's a
Not
big
Eric
YouTuber.
Hovind. I've heard of Eric Hovind.
I was gonna say, like, wow.
I did a couple debates with him. He's like bottom of the barrel. He's basically a Hovindite.
Oh.
He's a Hovindian. So I did some debates with him, and I was like, wow, this guy argues exactly like Kent Hovind. I should see if I could just step right up to the biggest guy. And yeah, Donnie was like psyched to have me come on and debate him, and we did a debate. But I don't think there's going to be a repeat performance because Donnie doesn't seem very excited to continue platforming Kent after his accounts have been nuked multiple times recently.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
I mean, uh-oh.
Nope.
Yeah, a lot of people will bring him back. Well, I guess hopefully he comes back. A lot of people were giving that what?
The
The
magnets got him.
Yes. Nuked. Whoops. Sorry. I think we pressed the button at the same time. Sorry. Yeah, no, a lot of people were shitting on Donnie for having Hovind on at all because you're not supposed to do that when YouTube takes down somebody else's channel. You don't just throw them you don't allow them to do the same thing they were doing on a different channel. It's against TOS. But apparently Donnie didn't get that memo. I mean, I guess he did after a while, but
Yeah.
it's a little crazy. Real quick though, Al Trucker has been a member for 11 months. And Al says, is that magnet inertial or just inertial? Am I
I
missing an
don't like
inside
you,
joke?
Al. You're a bad friend. And yeah, go play in traffic.
Wow. That is not a way to talk to one of your cult members.
It is to Al. He's really good at playing in traffic.
I think he might be referring to some very word salady comments that Austin Whitsitt made in a debate about
Did he?
how uh, something about magnets going into their inertial state and being etherically displaced. And honestly, I couldn't even begin to quote it because it was so absurd and nonsensical.
He is.
But some of the people that do debate him and talk about flat Earth stuff made a country bluegrass song about the comment called "Etherically Displaced." That's absolutely hilarious. It's like banjos and like toothless hillbillies playing and singing about. I think it's probably like a magnetic cycle.
I am
It's really
unaware of
funny.
this, and I need to become aware of this.
I'll give you a
Okay.
link to it, Andy.
That's okay. A thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, Left-Handed Jedi is has been a cult member for 13 months. Um, and he says, evening all. And then Jedi decided to gift us 5 more cult members. And that
You
went
cult.
to, yes, that went to Hecklick. John Gear, Triceratops is malleable like a mallet. Borg Cube and Don Giovanni. Welcome, welcome, new cult members. Um, please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and vaginas. All right. So, all right. God, not even sure what direction to start in first. You know what? While Tap, you don't have the video up. While you're doing that, I'll kind of
Oh, I don't.
remind
Sorry.
everyone of what we're going to be going in. We'll remind. I'll show everyone what we're going to be discussing tonight.
The crystal skulls have been a subject of fascination and mystery for many years, and there are several stories and legends associated with them. Here are some of the most well-known. In some legends, it is said that the crystal skulls were used by ancient civilizations for divination or communication with the spirit world. It is also said that they possess consciousness or intelligence that allows them to communicate with humans. The legend of the 13 crystal skulls tells that the skulls contain advanced knowledge and technology that could help humanity unlock the secrets of the universe, and that they may be linked to the ancient astronaut theory, which suggests that aliens visited Earth in the past and had a significant impact on human history. The Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull. This is perhaps the most famous crystal skull, which was reportedly discovered in Belize in the 1920s by explorer F.A. Mitchell-Hedges. The skull is made of clear quartz crystal and is said to have been carved by ancient Mayans. It is believed to possess healing and mystical powers. However, some people have claimed that the Mitchell-Hedges skull was not actually discovered in a Mayan ruin, but rather was purchased at an auction in the 1940s. They suggest that the skull may have been created in Europe in the 19th century, and that its supposed association with ancient civilizations is a myth. What is interesting about crystals with piezoelectric properties is that they convert sound waves into electrical signals, or vice versa, and their ability to generate an electrical charge in response to mechanical stress, or conversely, to deform in response to an applied electrical field. It may be a coincidence that the skulls have these properties, but one thing is for sure, the crystal skulls remain a subject of fascination and mystery.
Oops. You know, I always forget to do that. I'm sorry. I need to bring Austin into this so he can rub his temples as well. Hi.
Maya, why are
Yeah.
you doing
No,
this to
that,
us?
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you're the one who insisted on doing this sober.
Yeah. That
You're
was a
talking. You're
mistake.
not talking to me, okay? I am like three and a half gallons of straight grain alcohol deep. Is that true? No, that's physically impossible. Is it true in spirit. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have fun tonight. Dr. Tapioca Weasel, please let everyone know what we have in store for them.
So what we have, it's Roger night. This is our good friend Roger from Mudfossil University,
MFU.
who currently has 222,000 subscribers. Why are you like this, God? And this video from 8 days ago has 6.1 thousand views. And the title of it is The Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull, shown to be a real head and is Mudfossil crystal biology.
Yeah.
All of that's bullshit. Okay?
It's very impressive. He was able to show that without actually examining the skull itself, he did so by just looking at pictures of it.
Well, yeah,
What a
but I
proof.
mean, he probably has examined it and has a ton of like DNA samples from it, as he likes to so often mention all the time, that he's had everything DNA tested, including, you know, the lungs and hearts that are right here visible on his desk. I'm sure he'll get to them. So
Oh, real
yeah,
quick, we have Stop the Stupidity for the first
no.
time cult member. Awesome. I believe this is the first stream. So welcome. All right. Please either bring out your glass of your finest, whatever you drink, or your face palm mitt, and enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas.
Indeed. So let's just get into it, shall
Oh,
we?
wait, real quick, because Stop the Stupidity also gifted us 5 more cult members. Oh my goodness. And that went to Congruency Matters, Plumpy, Jenny Johnson, Stacy C, and Carpasian. Holy shit.
Indeed.
These are brand new people. So please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas. We have plenty.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. Oh. Sorry, I just had to take a mental moment for myself. Let's do this.
That's fair.
Okay, my outstanding friend, this is going to be fun.
That's
it's gonna be
probably
fun.
true.
It's gonna be
It
fun.
is going to be fun. We got
Yeah.
the feather. We have a full sentence at the beginning. He's gotten way better at that.
Yeah. I do like it when he doesn't start in the middle of a thought.
And he's got his NASA shill glow up in the corner.
Wait, what was that?
Yeah.
We couldn't hear that.
I reject the claim that we're friends.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
getting kind of
true.
an echo.
Do you have the actual stream open in another tab? That is the typical problem
No,
at
it's
the
just
beginning.
this one.
Oh, weird.
Huh.
You're both using headphones too, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yes, and
Should
I
we
don't
get
have my
that
external
when I come?
speaker, so it's probably black
It's
magic.
confusing for me. It's hard to talk while the
Yeah.
echo is going on.
It
I
really
guess I'll
is.
just power through it.
Do you want to refresh real quick?
Yeah, let me try that.
All right, while he's doing that, I can play the Crystal Skull video again if you like.
Do what? Yeah, I mean, you're a bad friend, Maya. You ask me these questions, and there's no right answer. Like, if I give response 1, it causes me, like, great pain and suffering. If I give response 2, it also causes me great pain and suffering. The only tiebreaker I have is which version of causing Vandy great pain and suffering is more humorous for the audience. And
Ooh.
I don't know
That
the
is
answer.
one for the ages.
I don't know the answer here. So, but, you know,
The one
maybe
with neither of them have
Roger's-
magnets, though. So how funny could it be?
I hate you so much.
Hey, but everybody in the chat should love me, and that's why you should hit the thumbs up button an odd number of times.
Yes, that is important. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, but oh,
Hmm.
oh man, I really hope that telling him to refresh didn't just completely brick our entire stream.
I think so. I think we're gonna have to power through, and he's seen it, so he'll have to catch up.
That's
We
true. Let's do
should
it.
start.
We have the Mitchell-Hedges Crystal Skull. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was a living skull and was breathing oxygen at one time, this creature. And it's solidified in a...
Can we maybe stop there?
Okay, I feel like we should poll the audience. Do you think that the thing on right here on
Has
the right?
anybody heard of the Mitchell-Hedges Skull? So, I mean, I know that I played like kind of that short clip earlier, but it's a crystal skull. Oh, thank you.
Oh, whoops! Wow, I
Oh,
don't know what that happened there. That was weird.
that was weird.
So on Wikipedia, the crystal. God, why are you doing this?
To
I'm
fuck
just
with
trying
you.
to like. Okay, so the Mitchell-Hedges skull is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 18 trillion paragraphs long on Wikipedia, and for the record, this skull was allegedly discovered by this one dude, but it was actually probably discovered like by his daughter or something, and it was purchased at an auction.
All right.
We know that it was purchased at an auction.
No, they went into a cave and she plucked it right out of the cave.
Out of the
Out of the
temple
cave.
in Honduras /
Yeah.
Belize.
Yep. That's where they were. When
Even
she
though,
found it in a cave.
which is really interesting because other people that were present, others present at the time of the excavation recorded neither the skull's discovery nor her, this one dude's daughter, her presence at the dig. And she's the one who came out with it years later and was like, yo, we got this skull that my dad totally found for real, though. And yet...
It must be collective amnesia.
I mean...
I've heard of it.
Either that or the Mandela effect, right?
Ooh. Good one. You know, that definitely would have been, like, if I had gotten more time to Steel Man, a totally plausible story, would have been in my top 5 picks. Mandela, like,
It's obvious
it was either that or aliens.
Conspiracy.
Yes.
It's a conspiracy to hide the truth.
So,
indeed.
The truth.
Indeed.
That they don't want you to know that aliens are real.
It goes all the way to the top.
Yeah, when they die, their skulls turn to crystal, and they plant them in caves.
That reminds me of the joke of like when a flat earther dies and they go to heaven or hell or whatever, and they see God and they're like, "Is the Earth flat?" And they're like, "No, it's round." And then they turn to their friend, "You see how high up the conspiracy goes?"
I love it.
Yeah. There's
All right. So what's Wikipedia saying now that Austin's back?
So Wikipedia is pointing out...
Oh wait, we did get through that. Yeah, where it's a total hoax.
It's a total hoax. It's a replica of this other skull, which is found at the British Museum. So this is the original skull.
Okay.
The skull that we're talking about was very clearly like based off of this and is a copy of it, but like better and more detailed and stuff. It was they've investigated it and they did a detailed study. And using electron microscopy and X-ray crystallography, which are, ways of probing the microscopic structure of the material, they found that the British Museum skull, at least, so maybe not this particular skull, was definitely worked with like modern sort of materials or abrasive specimens.
Yeah.
I think that yes, since because the particular grit that they used only existed after 1890. So they think that it was definitely made not several thousand years ago by the
Mm.
Mayans. Maya, what did you do? In
It's a
Belize,
modern
which
art.
I don't think is part of
Shh, secret.
Yeah. It's a modern art piece. Was probably created using some kind of circular tool
Mm-hmm.
with some kind of either copper or stone grit. They found, they found on the teeth of the skull indications of tools shaping it, micro scrapes and scratches, and yeah, things that would not be present if it were actually some kind of fossilized remain. Roger and all of his fans seem to think this was an organic skull that was converted into some kind of mineral via pressure, which is a little confusing because I think any amount of pressure that would be capable of turning a carbon based organism's remains into some kind of mineral would definitely deform the skull before
Yeah.
it would break it and smush it and change the shape of it. But wow, this thing's a perfect skull shape, but it's
Well,
changed
yeah,
into
it's
some kind of mineral.
well through the power of magnet magic, you can crystal skull.
Clearly, yes. It's interesting too because they kind of regard it as almost being like a Ouija board type thing. Like you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
read the cosmos through it. There's secret knowledge
Oh
inside
yeah,
of it
you
that
could
we just
heal your
haven't figured out how
depression.
to tap into.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah, yeah, all
yeah.
kinds of crazy stuff,
It's great.
which Roger is going to teach us all about once we get
Oh
back to the video.
yeah, Roger. Let's get back to that.
Okay, let's do it.
In the mud fossil manner in extraordinary conditions. Now,
He's talking about how
Okay,
it was
stop.
preserved.
I'm already. What is a mud fossil manor? What is that?
Okay,
I
so
need more details than
so
just
once upon a
saying a mud
time, everything was biological, and then there was a giant mud flood with electron dipole mud floodiness, and it preserved all sorts of things in an extraordinary manner.
Hmm, hmm.
So, you
So
know,
does a mud fossil manor create fossils that are both rocks as well as fossils that are like now quartz, silica, glass minerals, or are those different processes? Is that the
Well, mud
same
fossils.
process?
No,
I
yeah, they're
personally
just
would consider quartz a
fossilized.
type of rock, but that's just me. I might be
Sure.
wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you know,
I'm normally wrong.
have always, but things fossilize, and through processes that Roger has never been clear about. Sometimes
Right. Yeah.
they're granite, sometimes they're molten lava, sometimes they're crystal. Fossils got a rock.
By the way,
Super
granite,
science.
it gr- fossils are never made out of granite. The things that
Wait,
make
no,
granite,
Roger has granite mud fossils, though.
well, Roger has a lot of things,
Hmm.
including possibly,
Yeah, no, no, no. We're
never
not
mind.
talking about fossils. We're talking about mud fossils,
Fair,
which,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Our
the
thing.
reason I'm
Sorry.
doing this today is because I saw something about a brain being crystallized, and they're all crazy about it. This has just been ignored like it wasn't real. This is absolutely real. I'll show you the
Yeah, it's on your screen. It's very clearly real. It's just not. I hate you so much, Roger.
reality of it.
On the internet said so. I mean, who could doubt that?
Well, I mean, especially when he's got all of these other compelling examples of mud fossils right here.
Oh, where's
on.
Caesar
Yeah,
Augustus? Wait, is
Um,
that no? Is that it?
I don't think
he
that is
shows it
Caesar
later in the
Augustus.
video.
He shows Caesar. Oh, I think right under here is Caesar Augustus.
Oh, okay.
I think that's it, but I'm not.
All right, get ready.
No, that is right here. Okay,
Yep,
this
yep.
is definitely Caesar
That is
Augustus.
definitely Caesar Augustus.
It's really, by the way, man, we have been watching this guy for way too long that we know the names of his random
Covers
rocks that he just has on his desk. We're like, oh yeah, that's the rock that he named Caesar Augustus because he
What?
thinks
It's
a
adorable.
gift.
For this. This is from Mount Vesuvius, this eruption in 79 AD, 2,000 years ago. A new analysis of his remains reveals a lump of dark colored glass rattling around in his skull was once his brain, vitrified in an extremely rare set of circumstances that have only ever occurred once that we know of in the city of Herculaneum in 79 CE. Well,
All right, so this happened once that we've ever known of, and therefore it can always happen anywhere ever.
We're talking
And we're
about
talking about
Vesuvius.
a sliver of a fossil. We're
Mhm.
talking about a tiny piece of a fossil versus an entire skull being converted into a mineral.
Yeah, and like
Which, yeah, same thing.
we've all seen the pictures of the remains at Pompeii, right? Like
Yeah.
they're very well preserved, but they're not that well preserved, right? Like they're not like pristine jewel quality transubstantiations of minerals into magical crystal goo or whatever.
Right.
But the idea that this particular event, which what happened at Pompeii was there was a big ass volcano that erupted and a huge pyroclastic flow of like a few thousand degrees swept in and basically just instantly did a lot of really, really weird physics and chemistry to people. And when you stop being biology and start being physics and chemistry, you're having a bad day. And so, like, that is one example where you could basically, like zap somebody and heat them up so high and then cool them down fast enough that they might spontaneously turn into sort of a glassy-like object. Because that's how glasses actually form, is you have to cool them down in a certain way. But Roger doesn't appreciate any of that. Roger thinks, oh, hey, well, this happened once, therefore it always happens.
It always happens, yeah, because
It doesn't even jive with his alleged story that they found it in a temple.
No.
If there were conditions sufficient to create that kind of conversion, I don't think you would be able to find it within a standing structure. Like, that doesn't really make much sense to me. I'm pretty sure the structure would have been destroyed by that massive impact. And we don't have any record of any sort of volcanic eruption happening in the area where they claim to find this skull, do we? Not that I know of.
Not that I know of, but I don't necessarily want to rule out the possibility that something in Belize, which is vaguely on the Pacific Rim, maybe there would be volcanic stuff around then, but yeah, not that I know of.
yeah, nothing that's been found at least. And it's really interesting that Roger doesn't understand that there are conditions must be sufficient to produce something under certain circumstances. It's just like, well, it is possible
Roger's
that it
doing
could
kind of-
happen, therefore this.
Roger's doing kind of the Charlie Day Pepe Sylvia thing where he's like he's just taking random pegs on a
Yeah,
cork
yeah.
board and strings to him. Sometimes the fossils do this, and then we've got the skull, so it does this, and then it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, dude.
Yeah. Get out the tinfoil hats and the red string.
Right. Yeah.
And for $2,
He's
Left-Handed
really
Jedi
connecting a lot
says,
of
Sorry. For $2, Left-Handed Jedi says Medusa turned the skull into crystal. Bling. Plausible. Plausible. I
Yeah.
read that in a book.
This is
So-
why you need your polished mirror shield to protect yourself.
Indeed.
Is that what the tinfoil's for? Maybe that's what that. Oh, it finally makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show you some
Protect
other
you
ways
from Medusa's
things
gaze.
turn into glass. It's not extraordinary by any means.
I mean,
Okay, this is pretty.
if it's only ever happened once to like human remains that we know of, that seems pretty extraordinary.
It's like
mean-
every time he makes one of those emphatic statements, Tap, that he's like, it's the exact opposite is true. It's not extraordinary by any means. Nobody questions this. I don't think anybody would question this. You know,
Yes.
he makes multiple statements like that are just like really,
Oh.
really trying hard to shove the audience in the direction he wants them to think about this thing.
The level of incredulity that this guy like constantly demonstrates is profound.
Indeed.
Pretty exciting for me because I do biology, I do chemistry, I do physiology,
No.
I do all that stuff.
You do none of those things.
And of course, the mud fossils and the
You do that.
transition between being biology into being solid matter. And they have a chemistry thing in here that we're going to go through. It's fabulous. Now, here's what they're saying. It shows compelling evidence these are human brain remains composed of organic glass formed at high temperatures. They say in high temperatures. A process preservation never previously documented for human or animal tissue, neither brain nor any other kind. Well, I disagree with that entirely, basically.
Okay.
He's talking about another artifact here. Still, he's not talking about the skull. He's talking about the remains they found
At Pompeii, yeah.
from. Yeah.
He's
Okay.
trying to make a case for his insane machinations. And
Yeah.
he's trying to cherry pick the parts that he likes, and then so
Ignore the whole Mount Vesuvius erupting of it all.
well, I mean Austin, come on, it's inconvenient. Hello.
Now, I'd love to talk
I'm
to
sorry.
these
How
people
could I get
because
in the
this is a true, real, it's human skull. And it is preserved in a mud fossil manner.
What is a mud fossil manner?
I
How
think
does a mud
It's a
flood cause?
magical thing.
it's perhaps a video that we didn't look through, or which
Or
may
it's
not
all
be
the-
unrelated, a term he pulled out of his ass.
Well, I feel like it might be the through line between like all his content, and the problem is that through line is complete fucking nonsense.
Mudfossil
very vague.
Manor. I
'Cause
wonder
mud
if
fossil
that.
is definitely
Hey,
a
Dr.
through line.
Kip, Dr. Kip, are you still here? Is a Mudfossil Manor anywhere near the cosmic sperm bank?
Mudfossil
Well,
Manor
silly.
sounds like a terrible reality show where people are invited to a manor that is filled with just nonsense.
It like
I
Big
would not
Brother,
want to go
but
to
instead of
Mudfossil Manor myself.
oh, dude, that
It's
would be a
probably
great
not
show.
Mudfossil University.
That would be such a good show though, like a reality show where it's Mudfossil Manor and it's basically Big Brother, except it's all conspiracy theory hacks. That would be
Yes.
Ooh.
that would be good
That-
television. That would be
yeah.
absolute cinema.
Oh my God. People would watch that.
Yeah, they
For
would.
sure. I would
Holy
watch that.
shit. You should pitch that and get another trust fund.
I absolutely
Like-
should.
God.
You could never have too many trust funds.
I hear that.
I want credit. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We can go halvesies.
Yes,
It's
Dr. Kip.
not in
The
high temp-
volcanic eruption turned the crystal skull to glass or something. It's
Well, I mean, volcanic eruptions turn stuff into obsidian, which is a like basic. Obsidian
I
is a type
mean,
of glass.
why are you trying to legitimize that statement?
It's literally my only job, Maya. Well, that and pressing the play button.
Temperatures. I don't think this was a high temperature.
No, he doesn't think. True statement.
Absolute
Although it could
science.
have been. I don't know. But it was during the Great Flood, and there was high temperatures, so I can't discount that. But you see these? You see this? This is inside the skull. You see this back here?
It's inside the skull.
What do you see here? Same thing, exactly identical. You see that?
Exactly.
No, I don't, Roger. I don't see.
I don't
These
even
do
know
not
what
look like the same things
What
at
he's
all
talking
to
about,
me.
he's
I mean,
talking
I'm-
about the little filaments here being the
This-
same as the little filaments here. One of these is a physical artifact that is carved out of like quartz or something, and one of these is a model of like neuron connections in the brain from a.
Yes.
This is a pretty like famous picture. I've seen it before.
Yes.
I don't know, but it was like a state of the art
synaptic
mapping of the
map
human
of
brain. Yeah,
brain activity.
exactly.
It's a synaptic map of brain activity, which he is conflating it with a physical object. But I mean, not only is he conflating it with the physical, they don't actually look the same. I'm looking
I mean,
at it.
well,
This
yeah,
over
one,
here-
no, but two, I mean, to not even understand what he's looking at though is
Yeah.
goals.
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, what are we saying that like there was a volcanic eruption that was just like it crystallized the skull so quickly that it fossilized the synaptic.
Yeah.
Like,
It fossilized
as
an
the
electrical
synapses
flow,
as they
Maya.
were firing.
Yeah.
As
And
crystal
somehow
clear
there's no
quartz.
occipital lobe. There's no. You can see in the one. There's the cerebellum. None
Yeah.
of this got into the actual like marks. I don't. This must have been a very brain challenged individual when he got fossilized, which makes sense because he was probably being choked out by gases before he got fossilized. You know what? I'm a believer now. Roger's got me convinced.
I
This
mean,
makes so much sense.
it's right here, and God,
But you should leave a comment like all of these other, super.
yeah, let
brilliant
him know how
people.
brilliant he is and how he's changed your life
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
You see this? You see this ball right here in the back?
That ball literally doesn't exist over here. That like this is not analogous to that. It's just not. Why are you like this?
I'm pretty sure that
was
ball
honest-
is either the occipital lobe or the parietal lobe as well, Roger.
I don't know what those words
believe
mean, which
might be the
definitely
parietal
means
lobe.
he doesn't know what those words mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, he for sure has no idea what a parietal lobe or an occipital lobe are or what they do. The parietal and occipital lobes are located near the back of the brain. The occipital lobe mostly processes visual stimuli,
yeah.
and the parietal lobe is about spatial stimuli. It relates you to your spatial surroundings. What's interesting about that is there's all kinds of crazy effects you can achieve by messing with somebody's parietal lobe. Like if you hyperstimulate it or you deactivate the stimulation, it messes with people's sense of their place in their surroundings. That is probably the source of out of body experiences. There's experiments to substantiate that idea.
That's a good question, Dither. I feel like it might almost be giving him too much credit, though. For this to be the Texas sharpshooter fallacy, you have to like have a thing that actually matches and be like, oh, you see, that is a coincidence. I think not. Whereas this is not even that. It's
It's like not even matching things. It's like this kind of looks like something I think I'm looking at over here. I'm just gonna say there's the same thing. God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
face when it died. This has moved forward, so you have a blank space in the back. See, it's blank right here. It's open.
It's
That
not blank over
ball,
there, though. That's not
cerebrum.
blank. Why are you like this? This is one of the most densely colored parts of the entire damn brain.
So what's happening here is he's actually acknowledging that his own comparison is bullcrap and that no, these actually don't look alike, but there's a reason for that. I've done very scientific calculations for why things don't look the same. I think this probably happened. Oh my God.
Oh, I thought he was just like saying that they were the same. Maybe I misheard him. I'm not going to rewind.
I mean, that is what he's trying to say. But I think what Austin is saying is that he inadvertently outed himself.
Yes.
Yeah, these are true facts.
Yeah, I think it's cerebrum moves forward because it was on his face. That's why his lip is turned up and his nose is squished back.
It's a skull. Skulls don't have lips.
Oh, dear God.
This was what I was saying, Maya. This was the part. He thinks skulls have lips.
I didn't. Oh God. No, I guess I didn't. I guess I
This reminds me of like a numerology conspiracy theory where somebody's like, if you count the number of letters in Ronald Reagan's name, it's 666.
Yeah.
Ronald Wilson Reagan, 6 letters, and then, but you'll like point out subtle things like, hey, wait, this doesn't match up, and they'll say, but if you just add numbers, or if you just subtract numbers, or if you just divide it, but it's just making crap up.
I mean, if you look at my name, okay, Michael Vandegraff, 7-11, I am bought and paid for by that corporation.
Ding.
Same level of logic.
Yep.
The teeth are so fabulously exactly perfect. It's just hard to believe.
Oh my God, hold on. You got to put that back up, Maya.
I checked with Dr. Carrier, and he informs me that the Bayesian probability is magnitudes higher than the plausibility of historical Jesus. That sounds like a confirmation to me.
I am so not convinced by Dr. Carrier's use of Bayes' theorem. He puts in probabilities when I don't think you're allowed to put in probabilities. You don't know. Saying, therefore, it's 50-50. God, I hate it so much.
You doctors are all alike.
Yeah. Well, no, hold on. Don't lump me and Kip in with Dr. Carrier.
No. I was lumping you in with Dr. Kip against Dr. Carrier.
Well, yeah, but I like say what you will
about. It's a joke. It's a joke. Just take the compliment, laugh it off. Press the play button.
Wait, hold on.
It'll make you feel better.
I believe it could have been real, but the jaw is actually articulating. It moves. This little hole here, that's normal. That is absolutely normal in a human skull, in the jaw. And all of these nerves.
Does anybody know if that's true or not? I don't think that's true.
Hey, Austin, you're the biology major.
What is the claim precisely here? That the jaw of the fossil itself is articulating, or that the jaw of the organism would have been articulating? If it's a replica of an actual skull, I imagine that skull's jaw was articulating. But once something is fossilized, it usually doesn't articulate anymore. It tends to be one solid object. I'm not a paleontologist. Yeah, that as well.
Like if you.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Like if you and I, if you just like look at our skeletons, they're very 3-dimensional. Fossils tend to get real squished. Like ribs are all sort of like flattened on each other and squished. So it wouldn't look like that.
No, obviously not.
And there's no possible way that anybody could have carved this and put those nerves inside the brain. It's just absolutely insane to think that. Everything stacks up. If this head was on... This is cut off like this.
I hit the wrong part of the screen.
Oh, what'd you do?
No possible way? It's very possible. You take a piece of quartz and you carve it to look like a skull. The level of incredulity, like you said, Tap, that's just absurd for him to make the claim that there's no other possible way. Has the man not heard of sculptures? I
Oh,
get the feeling that he would look at a statue and be like, "This had to be a person. This had to be a real living person. There's no possible
you're
way
right.
somebody could have taken a chisel to a piece of mineral and shaped it." I,
So
I,
So if I had to steel man him, I would say he was talking about the stuff that's like inside the skull,
yeah,
which like I think these filaments and stuff probably like this right here just looks like a crack, for example.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
And all they're all like micro because it's very rare to get a chunk of any crystal that big that's like pure. Like it
yeah,
basically doesn't happen. And if you did have it, it would be a very famous artifact that would be worth a ton of money. Which, to be fair, this is a fairly famous artifact, which is worth a lot of money, for that reason. But that's the
yeah.
way it always was. Like crystals had
That's just
imperfections.
texture. Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
texture. Yeah,
For $2.22.
nobody went in
Oh,
and
sorry.
oh my gosh,
For
he
two
thinks
dollars
some
and
he
well, real quick. For
thinks
$2.22, my unfinished journey says, "Hail Nero, hail the goddess and company, hail Austin, and hail Mudfossil University." My unfinished journey also says, "MF doesn't necessarily have to stand for Mudfossil."
Yeah. You're
yeah.
not wrong.
I think
Everything stacks
Roger
up.
thinks that in order to create this texture that's inside of this piece of crystal, somebody would have to go in and like drill it out with little filaments and little things. And it's obviously that's not how it would happen. That's just that texture was in the piece of quartz that somebody
Yeah.
carved the skull out of. And for him to say there's no possible way is just mind blowing to me. It shows such an utter lack of imagination, especially when he has such a vivid imagination for the other things
Right.
he's claiming. It's like how does that switch flip in his mind? Fascinating.
I
Yeah. What is it, Dunning Kruger?
Yeah.
Oh, he has that so badly.
If this head was on its face this way, all that stuff would have pushed back, which it did, and the back of the brain would have drifted forward because it's made out of soft tissues. Now, does this rule out the fact that it was
I mean, it's inside a skull though.
boiled and hot? Maybe, maybe not. But it is.
Oh, how magnanimous. How magnanimous of him there to admit maybe, maybe not. I think it's the maybe not, Roger. But then
Yeah,
later in the video, of course, he said he goes back on. He does this where in parts of the video he's like, "Oh, I could be wrong, maybe, maybe not.
yeah.
You know, I want to hear what other people has to say." And then near the end of the video, he says the exact opposite. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody rejects this. Nobody argues against this. Like, oh my god, which is it?
Volcano Listos.
Yeah.
literally, without doubt, was alive at one time. There's just no question about that. If anybody can put up some kind of a defense that I'm wrong, I'd like to hear it.
I mean, he did the switch right there.
Oh my god.
I feel you.
Oh
I
my
feel you
God.
so much right now.
Wow.
Now, by the way,
amazing.
Santorini over in that area is about to pop as well. That's a volcano, and that is going to be, I think, serious. This is what they found, and in the skull, they found that piece of glass. Well, I would have to assume that they're probably right, because the volcanism and the aftermath of that is extreme heat, and of course magma flows and all kinds of molecular exchanges. And that is what causes glass to form. It's a chemical process, and we're going to go through it because they have a nice explanation of this, very nicely, about chemistry. It's not necessarily about this process.
Oh.
Does he actually go through it? I watched the whole video and I don't remember if he actually goes through it. He says he's going to go through it, but all I remember is him saying something about electrons, and that
Oh my
was
God.
as close as you get to an explanation.
Yeah, and like the stuff he says about electrons is like a local like brain anesthetic or something. It
Would you like
causes
to
like
talk us through
problems.
glass again? Well, just
Yeah,
say,
so
yeah, yeah.
so glass is actually really interesting. Glass fundamentally is a very sort of general concept. It's a type of solid that is amorphous at the microscopic level. So it doesn't have a nice clear lattice like you have here. So this is the Wikipedia page for glass. And here they're describing the microscopic structure. And here you have like a classical sort of solid thing, which has a nice, well-defined lattice. The vast majority of solids are like this in some way. And here it's the same thing, but it's like a little bit broken up because that's like how the world works. But at the end here, you have an amorphous thing. Like the long-term structure is like really broken up, and that is what makes a solid fundamentally a glass. And they have very different properties. They sort of resemble a liquid microscopically, the way they're arranged, but they're rigid. They don't flow and things like that. Um, there's actually this really cool video that explains how like you can have the same material, like two pieces of metal, but because of the way it cools down and the temperatures that same material reaches, you can have very different properties develop. So the chemicals are the same. It's not all chemistry, it's also physics. Um, so there's this really a cool clip here on Stephen Mold's channel, which shows it shows a ball bearing bouncing on a piece of metal, and then another one that's going to bounce on that piece of metal, and it's really fascinating to watch because if you've ever dropped a metal on another thing, like it normally doesn't behave like this.
The tube on the left is metallic glass, correct?
Yeah, the tube on the left is metallic glass. It's boom, 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 boom. It's like it's on a trampoline, and that one just boom, and it's dead.
That behaves the way
Yeah.
you would. Yeah, and that's what you would expect of metal and metal.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like normally when you drop stuff on
Not.
it's because the thing is the ball, and I want to emphasize the ball bearings here. The ball bearings are the same. It's the surface that they're bouncing off of, which is different. Ball bearings are just like they're like crazy ultra hard, also because the way they're cooled down and made. But those are the same. It's the thing they're bouncing on that is different. And it looks like it might be a thin plate of a metallic glass instead of, the whole cylinder, but that makes sense because
Yeah.
they're materials I hadn't heard of until late into my undergrad. So
The
they're
metal
really
in the
cool
tube
stuff.
on the right absorbs basically all of the kinetic energy from the ball bearing falling down into it, and the metallic glass in the tube on the left, it preserves a lot more of its kinetic energy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just it keeps on bouncing. It's like it's losing like 5% each time instead of 85% each time. So,
Very
um,
different physical property.
so glass is a very very interesting material, and it's absolutely something that we've actually spent a lot of time in the scientific community like studying and trying to understand. And the term glass is pretty broad, but obviously generally it refers to like the clear stuff that, yeah, like glass. Like, come on, you know what I'm talking about. But it he doesn't know what he's talking about. Is my point. And it's interesting. Like any, you can take a tangent into
Yeah.
any of these topics, and glass is one of them. And like obsidian is a type of glass. That's why it gets so sharp. Um, and it and I so I can imagine things fossilizing as a glass because they sort of cool down and then chemicals get exchanged and the heat is changing and it will cool down and quench in a certain way. Um, but Roger
Yeah, I
doesn't
doubt Roger
appreciate any
is,
of this.
I doubt Roger is any more of an expert in material science than he is in geology and biology and physics and all that stuff. I doubt he could name like 5 properties of a material with a gun to his head. Uh, I'm sure that things like malleability, flex point, viscosity, none of that stuff he could define or talk about. He's kind of just like, yeah, he's just,
Yeah.
putting the red thread from the pin here to the pin over here, and that's about as much substantiation you get for his ideas.
uh, I should get that as a background. I should get
What?
the conspiracy
Yeah,
theory boards
crazy
Oh
going.
conspiracy
yeah.
theory.
I gotta get okay. I need to actually replace properly the weasel easel and get a full size, like big background weasel easel as like a proper
Ooh.
background
Yeah.
instead of just my dresser that normally has one or more drawers open because that's how I roll.
This, but it's about chemistry. They come down here and they talk about how they figured all this out. Theoretically, anything able to melt can turn into glass. Well,
Because anything able to resolidify and maintain or not maintain a crystal structure can turn into glass.
this is the one we want to look into. This one right here. This is fabulous. Doing solids. Crash course on chemistry. Now,
Weird name.
you should start to think about chemistry because chemistry is totally
So
wrong
he's
right now.
he's teaching us about a crash course video.
Yeah, so
That's
he found a video. I assume
this is
is
adorable.
yeah, it's well so he's on some website
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah, yeah.
at this point I do not know exactly what website he is on because it was probably clear at the top but I've forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And for all we know this is the first time he's seen this.
Probably.
Like so,
Probably. Like he doesn't, yeah. I mean, I don't, we probably won't get to it, but he doesn't believe in actual education or how to get to logic or, informed opinions. And he,
I mean, he just said it. He said chemistry is all wrong, and that
yeah,
absolves him of the need to know what chemistry actually says, since it's all wrong anyways.
right.
He doesn't need to understand it.
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
They don't understand dipole electron flood theory. Until they understand that, they're never going to understand chemistry. So, because the periodic table has to change a little bit, and the whole nature of how things bond together and accumulate and heat, light, all that's just not understood. I'm not kidding you. It's just not understood.
He's right about that. I don't think anybody does understand, probably because it's not possible to understand it since it's just verbal diarrhea that he's vomiting out of his dumb, wet face hole.
Exactly.
It's not something that's
Like-
comprehensible, so nobody understands it, not even Roger.
No, exactly.
Certainly not Roger.
The electron flood theory model is it's not a mod it's nothing. Okay? Like why why are you like this, Roger? is
attention.
completely empty of content that makes any sense, like from paragraph to
I think
paragraph.
that's by design, Vandy. That's precisely so he can say nobody understands this, because you can't understand it. So he can very confidently say nobody understands this, just like I can confidently say nobody understands, angels dancing on the head of a pin theory. Like, if you just make up nonsense, yeah, you can definitely confidently claim nobody understands it.
I mean, maybe. I tend to think he's a little more honest than that in his own way. But I'm also kind of a pushover. So
Sinister Purpose would like Weird Al over there to sing one of his hit songs.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Just beat it. Eat it.
Okay, this is their claim, and they say the brain tissue studied here is the only known case of preserved vitrification of human tissue as a result of cooling after heating to a very high temperature. The
yeah, those aren't like experiments that you're allowed to perform, so that makes sense.
researcher's right. This is the only way, in quotations, this is the only way by which such a glass type can be preserved in a geological or archaeological record, and explains why this is a unique occurrence and preserves the ultra-fine neural structure of the brain. That's neural structure is the nerve fibers. And yes, they did find the nerve fibers in that brain, and they have them also in this brain, right there. They have converted into glass. Yes, I agree with that.
I mean,
oh my god.
Oh god.
That was fractionally speaking one of the less problematic chunks that he said, in my opinion. But mostly because I lost my train of thought. He made me angry.
I didn't see it in the chat, but I do want to thank Sinister Purpose for being a member occultist for 9 months. We continue to employ committees and vaginas. And oh my god, Native Atheist is dropping dubs in the chat.
Woo!
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar, 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 dollar.
All right. Native for $20 says, I am a titty mobster. All right. I love it.
Me too, Native Atheist.
Theirs is not unique by any means. I have a heart here that has turned into glass.
Oh my god.
All kinds of things turn into glass.
He's about to claim what he's going to pick up is glass.
All right, just to show you, this is a heart. This is also a heart. Right here is the right atrium. Is right over in here, and it.
Bro, that's a rock, though. Right?
Yeah, right.
That's literally just a non-remarkable rock.
It looks like every other rock I've seen.
Yes. Nothing about that looks particularly heart-shaped to me.
Yeah.
But even if it were, that doesn't mean we're looking at a fossilized heart. This is like the concept of pareidolia. Are you familiar with the concept of pareidolia?
Every single everything he's talking about.
Yes, basically his entire worldview is pareidolia based. I'm assuming that when he saw we're probably, all of us on the panel are old enough to remember back in the 90s when the tabloids had the picture of the human face on the moon, which is just a rock that has kind of some dipping
Mars.
Yeah. He for sure thinks that was a real person's.
He does.
Well, I mean, he literally gets to not that exact example, but a very similar one. like later in the video. So
And and it's especially funny because you
Actually,
can find geological features that look like genitalia. There's geological features that look like a vagina or a penis. My guy thinks that these are actually giant cocks and pussies that have been fossilized and not just,
uh,
a
yeah,
rock
100% he does.
that's in a certain shape.
So
I'm
yeah,
worried
like
that if he ever finds a potato chip that looks like Abraham Lincoln's head or something, he's worried he's actually eating the president. Yeah, exactly. These things here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so like our very first, like right here is what it looked like when we very first took the pictures, and it's kind of grainy and you're seeing a lot of shadows. But like our most recent pictures are just like it's a hill. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Like and like you're saying,
Yeah.
due to pareidolia, this is
yeah,
what
and like the exact time of day on Mars that was taken, like they had to take it sort of near enough to sunset
right.
that it those slight raised up bits made that look like a face because it like that
Yeah.
does it looks like a face. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a
I
face,
mean, yeah,
but
nobody's disputing that, but
but
That looks more like a face than his rock that he's claiming is a heart. Looks like
by
a
like
heart for
a
100%.
sure.
million.
100%.
It's like look at this. What are we?
Yeah.
Blows out through the supravena cava.
What?
All right, right next to it is this, okay, which is the aorta, and that's the aortic arch. All right, and that's where this red blood is right here.
Okay, I
Every
have another
time.
question. Does he think somebody like Mortal Kombated somebody's heart out of their chest and then they like threw it in the dirt and then just their heart got fossilized? Where's the rest of the fossil, my guy?
I mean, I
Because
don't want to see
hearts
his
tend to
closet.
come with like lungs and rib cages and like other parts that are connected to the heart. Like, how does he think this happened precisely? Of course, I don't know why I'm asking that question. There's no answer.
There's yeah, no. He would probably say I don't know and point
Yeah.
to it's like, well, see over here, we only find an arm. So, pieces can it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can't.
Gesture.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry. God. For $2, Jester said,
oh, I didn't even mean that.
always fighting with science. Indeed.
I
And also,
I wish.
is a member for, I'm sorry, a cultist for 13 months.
Weasel cult.
Please continue to enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas.
Well, you didn't read what he said.
Oh, whoops. Oh, hey, why is Roger holding my kidney stone?
I just want to
Plausible.
say
Seriously.
that you're either a giant or have
Like,
gone through some trauma. Like, damn.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that would hurt.
trauma.
Oh.
This right here, you see that?
I wonder if Roger
Different
thinks
texture right there. That's
Florida.
this.
Sorry.
I wonder if Roger thinks Florida is like a Titan's penis. Because if you've ever looked at like the
Yeah,
U.S.,
that, yeah.
Florida definitely looks kind of like a dick hanging off the front of the country. Norway and Sweden, there's all kinds of countries that are kind of dick shaped. I bet he probably does think that those are dicks.
That's a great question. I have he's talked about a couple of things in America that he thinks is different are different
Oh,
things, but I haven't heard the penis one yet. That America is a giant with a huge schlong.
well,
Big old.
yeah. No, the video that we decided not to go with today.
Mhm.
He just pointed at like the entire eastern seaboard and was like, "This is a giant," and I could not see it at all. Normally, I have some vague idea. Like here, he's saying this is blood. This is like a brownish patch.
Yeah.
It's at least got that going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
A dense, thick left, the left ventricle wall. And these are very heavy, this one and here. And these are what pumps your blood out through your body. And you can pump 6 gallons of blood in 1 minute through.
Not with this, you can't. This
No.
not going to work. So.
Your body. 6 gallons. You can't even fill your car up that fast. 6 gallons in 1 minute. I don't think. It's very, very close.
What is he talking about?
I think you can totally do 6 gallons a minute. Like that doesn't seem like an outrageous amount of pumping speed.
You can pump more blood
So
with your
add to the list of things Roger doesn't know about. Let's add how the diameter of a pipe relates to its flow rate. Because, yeah, absolutely you could. What is he even? Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one, Maya. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about here.
Well, he's talking about how this is a heart. Actually, look at it. It's clearly a heart.
Yeah.
It's practically beating you guys.
Right.
I don't understand how any of this relates to any of the other shit that we're talking about. Like, I mean, and I'm not saying we should like go forward. I'm just like, how do we get here? Like, you and I go through like just in our normal conversations, we'll go like, 5 subjects over before we come back. It's like, wait, how did we get here? Oh yeah, the stream.
ADHD.
Yeah, right. But like there's a logical like, oh yeah, this reminded me of this and that reminded you of that, and then we got over here.
Yeah.
But back to this. Like, no, really, how did we fucking get here?
It's the cork board, Maya. This string connects to that string, so now we're over here talking about this string, and yeah, I don't think even Roger really knows how it relates.
We were talking about like skulls, and then we were talking about this video, and
then we got over to
more about skulls.
To how rocks cannot pump blood at 6 gallons per minute or whatever.
What I'm concerned about is I feel like the only reason he thought of that is because somehow Roger has figured out a way to power his vehicle on the blood of his enemies. And that's like really horrifying to me, because if he's getting like, 30 gallons 30 miles a gallon and still needs this quantity of human blood, then like Roger might have a death count that we haven't appreciated. Is all I'm saying.
You can't be wasting the blood of your enemies like that.
No.
No, that's what witchcraft is for. Yeah.
With your gas tank, as fast as you can pump. This will pump just as fast. This is glass. That's glass. This is silicon is glass. And that's what this...
Glass is not a common ingredient in pumps. You know why? Because it breaks and is
very easily, actually.
It's brittle, and you don't want.
I'm sorry, the brrr actually killed me. I'm done.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Stick around.
Roger said hardcore brrr, and I this literally became a meme.
And I was like.
It took that long for this to become a meme. I got this from under the kitchen sink. I don't even know what it is. Exactly.
Pseudoscience go brr.
This is, and I have a lot of silicon. I have another heart here that's cut in half, so I can get down inside and see the ventricle, the heartstrings. There's all kinds of heartstrings in here. Hold on.
That didn't...
Oh, sorry. See these? These are the heartstrings.
It doesn't look like
This
that,
is cut
bro.
off like this. This is the bottom of the heart.
That
It's
looks
cut off.
like what?
He's saying that this looks like the cross section that he's talking about, and it just doesn't at all.
We
can
just
see
can't
the-
understand.
I don't see it.
This is the lack of understanding he's talking about.
Oh,
we can't
right.
understand.
Because yeah, because like science show. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah, that just looks like a flat piece of rock to me. But yeah, no.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm not.
I
I'm
don't
not a
have
Mudfossil University professor
yeah,
like
I don't have
Roger is.
eyes to see, apparently.
Well, I am a doctor of doctorology, and this is bad doctorology.
Hey, I mean, aren't you guys in well, I'm gonna say guys, you were in doctor school, but you were in like some kind of like weird like nuke school. Austin, you're in doctor school right now. Don't they teach you this about the heart that, when it fossilizes, it can strings can look like this rock here? Or I
And
mean,
also,
this
um,
fossil.
I must have missed. I
6
must have
gallons a
missed
minute.
that lesson, Maya.
Well, how are you going to fuel your blood-powered car?
I guess I'm not, Vandy.
That's
that's
a very
it's a
comforting
shame.
answer.
I
Thank you.
guess I need to. I need to enroll. I need to enroll in Mudfossil University to cover the gaps in my knowledge from my conventional education here, because apparently nobody understands this like Roger does.
Bro, story of my life, literally 80% of my time is spent trying to cover the gaps in my knowledge. So,
That's because you're a NASA shell.
see, right now
Yeah.
I'm trying to cover that gap in my knowledge of how to rebut that totally not completely 100% true statement. And I'm failing because I'm not very smart, because I'm a clown scientist.
Obviously.
They did that
I
because of
think
the heartstrings.
you should call Lisa in the NASA shill department. She has helped me a lot when my NASA shill skills have come up short. She's given me tons of great advice, and she sends me the paychecks and says, "Keep up the good work."
Oh yeah. You know what? I have her on my phone as paycheck bitch, but yeah, you're right. She's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is why you get subpar service from the organization, Maya.
Look, just send me checks, bitch. That's not
I
the
have all
price.
kinds of stuff that is
I'm going to report you to HR. God damn it. Fuck.
You're
That's
breaking
not gonna
rule
work,
number
is
one,
it?
Maya.
Problem is, Maya runs HR.
they have no idea what they're talking about in geology right now. None whatsoever. And they're making all these claims as the first time ever. Well, no. If you start looking around, you'll find out this is literally biology turned to glass. That's why his lip is pushed back.
Skulls don't have lips, bro.
I mean,
This is
where
making
are
my
we
eye
going?
twitch.
Like, he doesn't even know what a skull is. God damn it.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a skull? Is it a head? Is it a brain? Like,
What are you talking about, Maya? You haven't seen all those skull fossils in the Natural History Museum with their plump, juicy lips?
Guys, we have to remember, we're talking about an individual who literally thinks this object here on the bottom
Right.
is a heart,
Yeah.
and literally thinks this object here is a goose's head. Okay? So,
I mean, yeah,
I
okay,
forgot
sure.
that for a second.
But I hear you. I hear you. He's just a special kind of stupid. But I need him. Like, just fucking commit. Like, it's either a disembodied head, a skull, or a brain firing. Oh, God damn it!
He can't even commit to what kind of material it is.
I'm saying
Maya,
though,
he's saying
like
it's silicone. He's saying it's quartz. I saw him in the
yeah.
comments.
Silicone.
It's a diamond.
Yeah. It could be crystal, it could be glass,
It could be diamond. It could be He
quartz.
thinks it. Could, oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
All
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's whatever it needs to be in the moment for the thread he's connecting on his
You know what?
conspiracy theory.
This is fair. I'm being silly. I'm expecting Roger to make sense, and I'm clearly out of alcohol. So carry on.
His nose is pushed back. The jaw actually does this. This was
Hold on. Breaking news. The jaw does this.
I wish
There's a
Roger's
guy
jaw didn't do that.
I'm kind of saying though, right? More of this, please.
Shots
Yeah.
fired.
walking around. Now, how that turned into glass like that, that is a good question.
Yeah,
But
you're
I know
damn
for-
right it is, okay? Because let me tell you, the stuff that actually turned into glass, it did not turn into glass like that, okay? Like, this... that is not... No. This is not the
I love
remains of
when
a person.
Yes. I
It's
love
a
when the little
carving.
bits of cognitive dissonance slip through where he's like, "Oh, that's a great question. Oh, like, yeah, it sure is, Roger. What a good question." Maybe answering that question should start with defining what kind of material the object we're actually talking about is made of, and you might be able to find some answers to those questions.
How hard do you think it would be to find some pictures? And I haven't tried this, but to find some pictures on Google Images of an ice carving that looks, if you didn't already see this exact picture, exactly
100%.
like this. Right?
I imagine
Like,
it wouldn't be difficult.
like it might even look better because, like, and I was going to bring this up earlier actually, like, if you take water and freeze it, water chemically at its microscopic structure does not have like bubbles and shit in it, right? Like, it does because bubbles are big, and when you freeze it, it like, the way you freeze it isn't careful enough for it to just build a nice steady crystal all the way through. But you can do
Right.
that, and that's what, like, when people who do ice sculpting do that, normally they get one of these very pristine, nicely, carefully frozen blocks that is crystal clear, literally, because it's a crystal. And
Yeah.
then they carve it out of that. And it could look a lot like more pure even than this, although then he would say, like, yeah, but that's the point, this is the filaments of the neurons and stuff like that. But
I mean, it goes back to when he said, "There's no other way this could happen," which is, mind blowing.
I don't know. Not quite, but I mean, still pretty badass.
yeah, I need. Oh yeah,
Yes,
they're of
those
course they're
are
going to be
very
like from full on, but
Yeah,
that one looks, yeah. But yeah, you see what I'm like? It. Oh, hold on. Scroll up a little bit. There was one in the middle of like the side panel.
Wait, here or
Yeah,
up
scroll
here?
up. Scroll up. On the
This?
right. Yeah, that
Oh,
middle. That one.
ooh,
Right?
that's badass.
Yeah, and it's pretty darn close to the other one, except it's better.
Yeah, right.
It's
Oh, yeah. Oh, here, this is what you're looking for.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Roger.
exactly.
100% fact.
Oh my god.
Literally all the transition metals have been removed, and all you have is silicates left with the nerve fibers. The nerve fibers are a totally different substance than the rest of the body. They have insulation.
I mean, I feel like I are my nerve fibers like made out of radium, and the rest of my body is made out of like
No.
normal boring stuff.
that is just nonsense. Your nerve fibers are made out of the same organic chemicals that the rest of your body is made out of. It's all carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen. It's all the same basic components. I have no idea what he's talking about when he says they're made out of different things. That's nonsense.
In our defense, neither does he. So
Right.
Relation around them, which is extremely fine, and it is different than any other part of the body that I can determine. It has some extra strength around those fibers that insulate.
What did,
So,
what did Professor Parks miss, Andy?
Oh God. Oh.
There is kind of like an insulative layer around certain neurological parts of your body, like some nerves, but it's still just like fat and, carbon-based organic chemicals. It's not like it's wrapped in like conductive wire coating or something like that. What is he talking about?
And if it is wrapped in conductive like shielding, my question is which side is he grounding it on? Because I'm trying to avoid ground loops, and every time I Google it, I get a different answer. And that, Professor Parks, is not what we were talking about, but maybe you can vibe with that. I don't know. I don't know how often you deal with ground loops.
Yeah, you've missed so much. But feel free to go back to the beginning and watch all the way through.
Oh, later. Yeah, you should. Yeah.
Them from everything else. That's why people get all kinds of problems when the chemistry is not right in here.
You're
They'll
correct.
short out. That's a whole other issue. That's biology. I do that too. I do the biology, chemistry, physics, the mud fossils.
He's an expert in everything.
Biology,
everything.
chemistry, physics, mud fossils, all on the same tier. Okay, I remember my biology class in high school. I'm sure you guys remember your chemistry classes and your mud fossil classes.
Yeah, I don't want to be uncharitable here, but personally, I don't think if it were my money that I would hire Roger to do any physics, any biology, any chemistry. I'm not sure I would hire him to mop the floor of a McDonald's personally. But that's great. He has such high self-esteem.
The Dunning-Kruger is strong.
Yeah.
The video where he was complaining about like asking a professor whether or not about some stuff, and then he said Mudfossil, and like the guy hung up on him.
I can't remember if that was this one or the other one.
I don't think it's this video, but he does complain a lot in this video about how, scientists aren't paying attention to my theories. And it's like, yeah. I'm not surprised at all by that, Roger.
Yeah, that's because, he's about to get actually to one of his theories. This is like 30 seconds forward.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Do we, but
He's
like, I also... Like, Maya, if you make me sit through this again.
He's almost done with the part where he talks about the skull at all.
Oh yeah,
we're
we're past that. He's
La La Land.
No. Vandy is doesn't want to move on to the next part.
Adams look like.
This is great.
This is what he thinks atoms look like.
Yeah.
Now you would have to read the thing. He thinks that protons are. This is a real website. This is dipoleelectronflood.com, and it is an experience.
They don't look like one big positive in the center and a couple little negatives. No, they're.
For the record, that is basically what atoms look like. It's a big hunk of positive in the center and a bunch of little negatives around it. Like, if you're gonna short it down to one sentence, that sentence is as good as any.
50-50. But all the positives, which is the black ones, which is the dark matter, goes to the center, surrounded by the white glowy parts that we see as light. You never see that. It doesn't absorb, it doesn't reflect, it doesn't emit. Doesn't
Well, I
do anything.
mean, at
It's
least the black ones were the positive ones this time.
I was gonna say, like that. I feel like he might mind to react to exterior criticism because I'm like 95% sure that last time it was vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely, yeah, the black ones are bad. Got to keep them away from the white ones.
The keeping away thing. He's gonna emphasize that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
This part is wild.
Yes. I'm
all it
glad
does
you
is suck
said
in
it.
the white ones, and I mean it sucks them in so hard that that's what creates electricity. Is the white ones looking for the black ones? To create electricity, you have to pull the white ones away from the black ones and ball them up over here, and then send them through your wires back to the black ones, and they will push anything out of the way. They'll burn you to a crisp. If you're in the middle between the
Hold
white
cities to the ground.
I mean it's like Rodney King riots up in here. That's
I'm
what's happening.
saying, it's
Why,
atoms. Just
why bring color into it at all? Just call them
because.
positive and negative, Roger. Why? At least if you call them positive and negative, like you're kind of on the map of actually talking about something, the way it actually works.
Why would we get on the map of talking about something now?
Right.
Yeah, right. I don't like this. This is the part of this is his website. Okay, literally, this is the right here. This is the history page of the website. This is the page he was just showing. This is the other page, and there are only two people featured on this. This website is wild.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You read my mind, Professor Parks. I also love it when they suck it so hard. Yeah. I also would like to be sucked up. That would be fun.
all right then.
ones and the black ones, you are toast. This makes it very, very simple because chemistry is simple. It is.
Okay, this is okay. A white electron and dark muon. Um, okay, the things he says about the electron and the muon, which for the record are like not they're not like racially charged or anything. Like we're making a joke. Like he doesn't.
Yeah.
This is all over his head. He might. Yeah, he's not talking about that. But
how things fossilize and crystallize are all over his head. I can't imagine.
everything. Sorry,
Yeah.
I cut you. It's all.
Yeah.
Wait
It's
until he
just these
finds
two
out
particles.
that a white dwarf isn't actually a Caucasian midget.
There's only two particles that exist, and they are what makes light. Photons are those two particles together, back to back. That will bounce. This does not bounce. That is a single electron, basically, but it has the dark matter they never knew about.
Wow. Okay, so if we're still talking about electrons being the white particles here and muons being the black particles here, then everything that's on the screen on that's not what gluons are. They're something completely different. Photons don't even have mass, and none of this is related to dark matter.
I feel like he took like a science publication and he put it through a shredder and then he just took bits out of it and threw it in a bag and shook it up and just pulled out random words. Like it's just it's gobbledygook.
No, he went through several rounds. He went through several rounds of ChatGPT where he's like, no, but dumber though.
Right.
The actual fuck. Okay. Wait, so Austin, you said you liked physics. You want to talk us through any of this?
Uh,
How can you ask him to do that, Maya? That's like an expert on marriage being asked to talk through the details of being a married bachelor. It's not.
I can sum it up in maybe one word:
Mhm.
bullshit. This
Ah,
is it's a lot of bullshit. It's just I think he can count on the fact that his audience doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either. So
definitely.
he doesn't even really have to know. You know, he can just spew what it's like when you watch like old Star Trek episodes and they say things like the quantum manifold is, it's quantum entangling. They're just like kind of throwing sciency sounding terms in and counting on the fact that nobody in their audience knows how the correct usage of those terms so they can kind of do whatever they want with them.
Fair. I do want to congratulate Jake Nelson on 1 full year as a cultist. Congratulations. And also the 5 cultists that Tapioca Weasel has gifted himself, which went to Dr. Kip, Brilliant, uh, Thylacoleo, Malleable Marsupial Kennedy, Julie McGuire, and Dither. Awesome. So welcome and welcome back, new cultists. Please continue to enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties and vaginas. And Dr. Tapioca Weasel is outdoing himself here.
Yes.
He has also gifted to Joni, Apostate Sisters, Tom, My Unfinished Journey, and Tyler West cult memberships. So all of you, please enjoy and continue to enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and vaginas.
Yeah. Sorry, Jillian. It's one of those days,
Oh,
I guess. Yeah.
oh,
Sorry.
Jillian. Yeah, Jillian. Jillian
Yeah.
knows that the algorithm hates her. She's got to be
It's
used to this.
yeah. Sorry. Uh,
He tried.
So
I
we'll
mean, he gave it the old Scouts try.
yeah.
go into something as heat, or it will go into something that wants more electrons to stabilize. And that's what happened during the flood and all that. These things were floating around in the waters and all that, and there's all kinds of chemistry going on. And everything that I have stabilized by picking up on.
There's no like coherent end of this sentence that isn't like stunning in its complete obliviousness to all like material facts.
Other molecules that fit in with the ones there that were unstable. Your whole body is unstable. Your body right now is just a totally unstable mess of particles.
And whose fault is that, Roger? Yeah, I'm unstable. You did this to me.
Yeah.
It's continuously moving particles back and forth. It's called nucleophilic invasion and substitution. It goes on day after day after day. That's how you
I legitimately do not even know what that means and have no idea if he accidentally like did a correct thing. But nucleophilic substitution totally sounds like a thing that could be a thing. Also like a decent band name.
live. And what comes in is transition metals. Transition metals are the metals that carry, and they're all here.
They
Right
are.
in here. All these metals are in your blood. They carry things in, they drop them off, they come back. They have polarities to them, and those polarities mean that they can pick up on things and carry them around, and another one will have a polarity that says, hey, I'd like that little piece of iron you got there. You say, okay, here.
That's like at least in I don't know if polarity applies necessarily to that exact example, but it's an idea that is not totally in a different universe. So he like got some gist of that right. which is always a surprise. But he's mentioned transition metals a lot. I wonder if he knows what a transition metal is.
No, of course he doesn't. Where are you new?
Yeah.
And
He probably
drop off
thinks they're
particles. They come.
they're transgender metals or something like that.
Oh, don't
This
get
guy
me.
is going to be in the he's going to be in the Trump administration by the end of this video. He's going to be the
I'm
head of
surprised
the
he's not,
Department of Science, right?
honestly.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, he sucks. Man, he like slobs on Trump's knob. Like, holy shit.
yeah.
It like he has videos and videos of it. It's disgusting.
Wow, I have to wonder what the algorithm suggests for you on your other channel, Maya. The one that you use to like find this content, because
Yeah.
it sounds like a dark and horrific place
Yeah.
that we should explore in depth.
Come
I
back
don't
for
Yeah,
know
you.
that most people could handle. You can't hand. Most people can handle the few things that we actually put out once a week. I don't think they could handle just the gobs of bullshit that
We
I.
could They could if we pitch it as true crime, right?
To their own brain cells, though.
Exactly, but like, I mean, people are really into serial killers, is all I'm saying. So,
Did you
Part
slight
which I-
tangent here? Did you guys hear about how I think it was Elon Musk or Trump? One of them was bragging about, we cut funding for transgender mice. They were spending billions of dollars making mice transgender, and the word was actually transgenic, which
Oh
means they
God.
were manipulating the gene content of the mice to make them more similar to humans
that sounds
because it's used
exceptionally helpful.
researching. And yeah, I would give
He
this
still
guy
cut the he still cut the funding. It's
the
like,
transition.
we don't do any of the trans. Like,
I am all
Right.
about
Trans
funding gene therapies.
yeah, he's oh my God.
When we cure diabetes, it's going to be a gene therapy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it
almost
won't-
by
the
definition,
we
that's
won't
true
be
about
the U.S. He's cutting all of our funding for the fuck of it.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I'm not. It's not even going to be humans, Maya. Okay, I'm talking about the greater mammalian scientific enterprise,
It might be dolphins or octopi. I'm
or
not
weasels.
concerned.
Okay, we are a proud people.
Yes, sir.
They showed you all those little tubes, and it goes back, gets recharged up, and cleans it up, gets some more oxygen. Back it goes to do its job, transferring molecules through your body. Whenever you eat anything, that's what happens. It gets broken down by enzymes and so forth, and then
Why are you talking about eating things when you're explaining your model of particle physics? Like, you know the number of times I've heard like gastroenterology come up in the context of particle physics? Literally none. This is an entire
it floats through your body on these metal carriers and delivers them. There's a lot that's not really fully understood. And most of that transaction happens through your lymph nodes, and your lymph fluids.
It's just putting
Blood
things
and lymph
together
fluids.
now.
Those are the carriers, and those are the things that keep you alive.
What he's been doing the whole time.
Wait, did we switch from like atoms to? Wait,
Lymph
We
nodes?
went from atoms to the gastrointestinal systems to now we're talking about lymph nodes for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is still the
I
standard.
study biology, and I'm
This
lost.
is still comparing and contrasting to the standard model of particle physics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically, the lymphatic system is your immunity, is your immune system. It separates you from the rest of the world. Okay, my friends, we are presented with some serious issues in academia. There is extensive academic fraud, plagiarism.
And now
You're
for
an
something
academic.
completely different.
Yeah.
I want to. We're about to get to the. Well, in 2 minutes, we're gonna get to the Martian crab thing.
Let's just go there.
All right, we can do that.
My friends, I suppose we'll leave it at that. Multi-shocker du jours at Mudfossil University, home of the shocker du jour.
Home of the shocker du jour. Is he talking about? Is he talking about the shocker?
Yeah, there's multiple shockers of the day. It's
That makes as much sense as whatever the fuck he's saying right here. I have no idea.
Who's receiving the shocker? Okay, who's pink? Who's stink? What's happening here?
We started out with glass heads. We ended up in space with gigantic hearts. And
He thinks that this asteroid is a heart.
right,
you know-
because yeah.
It looks like this thing up here, right? Like,
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think I've ever been high enough to follow.
well, that's because you haven't really embraced the chemicals under the sink. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah.
now we're going to go to Mars, which has the same muscle as in these gigantic hearts eroding on
muscle.
Mars. And they claim it's millions and millions.
Say muscle. He's talking
I
about like
want
the
to-
muscle, like in underneath your skin. Yeah, yeah. Mars has that muscle. It has that muscle at all, and it's the same as are in asteroids, because obviously.
And on Earth, and
Confirmed.
like, does he think that all of these giants? Because he thinks that a lot of these things are giants, which is why like the hand-sized heart thing is so weird. Because your heart is roughly that size. Hopefully, if you're healthy, it shouldn't be like a ton large. I'm
We get
worried
it.
mine is.
We get
Yeah.
it. Moving on.
Millions of years to do that. That was a
Confirmed,
creature's body. When it-
Florida is a giant dick. That is pretty much the same level of logic of saying that, these structures are muscles. Florida is obviously a giant love muscle from a space giant who fucked the planet, and it was his giant rocky cum that, brought the earth to life, and then his giant dick fell off and it became Florida, and that's how it works.
I mean, obviously.
It's really close to Scientology, actually.
You know what? I haven't really looked into Scientology, and it keeps rearing its ugly head. So,
Oh, we should do it.
oh God, I need somebody. If you're like really into Scientology and you can like help us decipher shit. I'm not generally big on getting into religions, but we did it for the Nation of Islam, so we can.
Roger
I'm willing to
Hill
go there.
reminds me a lot of like the basic structure of Scientology, which was to just take the sci-fi writings of a guy named L. Ron Hubbard and to turn them into the framework for a religion. That's basically the history of how Scientology became what it is, which is especially interesting considering the original guy, Tap, when you were talking about the daughter of the guy who claimed ownership
Yeah.
of this skull, he was also a writer. He was an English writer of some kind. Like he wrote fantasy stories, and he would tour around with this skull and other parts of his collection, and would bring in crowds and people would pay to, stand with his esoteric collection and take pictures and touch his magical crystal skull that the Mayan priestesses used in death rituals and stuff. That is the actual history of the skull that was the main subject at the beginning of the video before we veered off into Roger's.
Right. We never got into that because Roger's ADHD is unmatched.
Yeah.
I mean, I do my best, Maya.
That wasn't a dig at you.
Yeah.
No, yeah, never
No,
mind.
it's a joke. Moving on.
died. I don't think it took millions of years to die. This is the dust that has eroded out of the sarcomeres. This is up on the moon. I mean, up on Mars. And here's the crab, the Mars crab.
Mars has crabs, and this is what a Mars crab looks like.
Yeah, we actually did this in a different video. Like it was like the whole video where he's talking about just this one thing.
Oh, so the giant that had the dick that became Florida, the reason the giant died was because it got crabs from Mars. It fucked Mars first and picked up Mars crabs, and then it came to. It's all making sense now. I think I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, once upon a time there were crabs on Mars, and this one was caught out in the open and fossilized somehow.
Well, I think he might think it's still alive, actually, but I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but
I don't really listen to Roger much.
You're right.
yeah.
I mean, I do, but not at this point in the video, generally.
Yeah. You should. You don't want to get
hold
space
on one second.
crabs.
I
It's
mean,
a
I feel
serious,
like.
serious question.
I mean, how do you know?
Oh, you don't want to know.
I really do, but Maya won't let me.
Got a better shot. All right, there's a better shot. This is NASA. Don't everybody's, oh, NASA, you can't believe anything they show. This is Mars, and this is the erosion of the sarcomeres. This is the connective tissue that gives you the strength. This is the stuff that pulls the sarcomeres in and out. This is the supply of blood that supplies all.
So it's not a crab. It's a cross-section of a giant artery.
This in and out tissue that gives you the strength. This is the stuff that
Okay,
pulls the
no,
sarcomeres in and out. This is the supply of blood that supplies all this tissue. It's down in here. This is the return called the vein. Artery, vein.
What the fuck?
Wait,
so now it's not a crab?
It's not a crab, okay? We've
Oh,
moved
we don't need it to
beyond
be a crab
crabs.
today. So
It's not a crab today. Today, it's giant
today we need
blood
it to
vessels.
be something else. So to justify this totally unrelated thing that we're talking about that we needed to justify.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never got crabs in your blood vessels?
I haven't, and if you have, like, you should probably get that published. It sounds fascinating.
Sarcomeres, connective tissue.
Well, a little penicillin, you'll be right as rain.
And dried out, actually bloody, you know, it's a bloody substance that makes the muscles contract. I'm not actually sure how the damn thing works, to be perfectly honest with you.
Why are we talking about it, Roger?
Why not, Maya?
I'm just,
Yeah.
if you don't know how something works, people just, people who aren't Roger, because clearly Roger's never going to listen to me. You can say nothing, and other people will only appreciate you more. I'm, just want to throw that out there as a PSA.
Yeah.
I mean, these are facts. Always.
Very strange.
Roger, he's trying to tell us about the truth of the aortic system of Mars, Maya.
Except he has no idea how it really works. But you should trust him, bro.
You're just a disciple of the academic patriarchy.
But I know how to say, I don't know enough about this to discuss it, so we're moving on. Unlike Roger here, who
he's trying to move on. He's got so many things to get to.
They're just laying right here on the surface. I pick my stuff
It's
right up.
kind of if I can try to
So it's
steel man
time.
him, it
Mhm.
sounds like he's kind of like talking about like a biological hydraulic system, like and those do exist. Like for instance, spiders' legs,
Mhm.
they are not musculoskeletal. They contract with a hydraulic system. That's why when a spider dies, its legs like curl up because that's actually their natural state. It's the hydraulic pressure that makes them, expand and open up and allows them to move. That's how I would steel man what he's trying to say. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know why a planet would have some massive version of that system. It's if I'm gonna try and steel man what he's trying to say there, that's what I would be guessing.
I don't know that
But
he.
we're so off into the deep end. It's like, yeah,
No,
even if I can kind
tr-
of conceive of some way what he's saying might make sense, there's no reason for him to be saying it other than, he wants to think that.
this part of it is actually like way more standard Roger. Like looking
Yeah,
at giant things and being like, that's clearly biology is like
yeah,
kind of his whole. It's like at least 40% of his deal, which is a
yeah.
plurality. It might be a majority, I'm not sure.
The
But
pareidolia.
the one of my favorite examples of this is what he's got in his hand right here, though, in this part
Yes.
of the video.
Extreme pareidolia.
It's beautiful, and we love to see it, though.
So it's time when they start looking at this. Caesar and I, Caesar my goose, Caesar Augustus.
Caesar Augustus, we love you so much, Caesar Augustus.
All right, he
Is he
will.
trolling us? He's fucking trolling us, right?
You thought we were kidding.
He has to be trolling.
Caesar Augustus is definitely my favorite character on the Roger experience. Well, okay,
I
other
think
than
he's just
possibly
trying to
Roger.
raise my blood pressure by saying the dumbest fucking thing possible. Looks like
That
goose. It's a goose.
that could explain some things. So I'm gonna have to talk to my cardiologist.
So I don't know. I haven't actually done do you know the definition of a circumiller or we can
No idea. That
Oh,
sounds
really?
like a
Okay.
Roger E's nonsense
No, no,
term.
no, no.
Here,
It's a real thing. I'm gonna show. So, okay, yeah. I like did a minor in
Oh,
biology, and I graduated like close to 20 years ago. So, like, I kind of know like when people are talking about things, like I get the thing in my head, but to like actually have to define it, like I'm trying to teach a class. I'm like, okay, what? Google. But a sarcomere is the basic contractile unit of a muscle fiber. Um, and they look generally, this is, it's probably a
is it
bad image.
piezoelectric though, Maya? It's
No.
not, for the record.
Yeah.
no.
Jack Dino did a really good job of explaining them the last time he was on. Yeah. I mean, they're just like the things in your muscles. I don't know. But
Yeah,
A
it's the
unit
thing
of
that like
muscle.
when you zap it with some electricity, it goes like. "Ugh!"
that is not what that
Yeah.
is. That is
It's
not what
totally
that
what it
is.
does. No, it totally is.
Don't listen to him, Chris.
What else could it possibly be, Maya?
It's a thing in your muscles that helps them like oh, what do you call it? Contract and
That
Contract.
that was
like
literally what I was
don't
trying to
know. It's
say,
late. It's
though.
almost midnight. Like, why are you
I
making me
don't.
think about things? Is that what
Okay.
you said? You said you zap it with electricity, and it like I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like that sounds
That's what
sadistic.
Well,
nerve
if
impulses are.
it's
It,
correct. Yeah, if you
the
zap it with
nerve impulses are
electricity, it
little bits of
will
electricity,
contract.
and
I
they
mean,
do. They.
yeah, but maybe don't do that.
The reason
Well,
we
okay,
know
Maya.
that is because a
I mean, no, I'm
Russian
not saying.
scientist
Oh, fuck's sake! No,
took
I
a
know that they will do that if you yeah, a lot of shit happens when you zap things with electricity. I'm just
Maya,
saying maybe don't zap humans with electricity
if
like
you
that
want to
with
shut down all electrical activity in your body,
no, no, no,
you
no,
do
no.
you.
There's one thing with the you don't zap people that's illegal.
No,
That's
no, your body
illegal.
zaps itself. Never mind.
Be happy to know that his history is preserved. And I'll be happy to know that humanity can deal with somehow. I don't care. I got to be honest.
Dude, literally, can you imagine if this goose did not have this particular bit of rock chipped out of it? Then he wouldn't even know it's a goose. Okay, and then this goose would be forgotten forever.
I
And
don't know.
that really
I mean,
tugs at my heartstrings.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like Austin was saying. It's just like it's weird when he wants to. He thinks like this little ball is a heart, right? I think he would still like see the beak there and decide it was a goose. I because his creativity is stupid.
he seems to see what he wants to see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't care what anybody believes. I just want it to be able to be shown. Then you believe anything you want. And that's always all I ever wanted. All I even ever wanted, I never even showed my face for 5 years. Probably. I can't remember. I said, probably at least that. I just said, here's what it is. Here's what it is. Somebody do something. Never happened. So finally.
Yeah, because there's nothing there, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. It's all nonsense.
We hear you. We see and hear what you want us to hear and see. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to laugh about it because
Yes.
it's so ridiculous and silly and absurd.
Like, yes. And if you want to write me off as an arrogant expert or whatever, that you do you. You have no idea what you're talking about.
The only appropriate reaction is to laugh and scoff.
Yeah. Yes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just decided I had to come out of the closet here and say,
well, hold on. This really throws a wrench in our plans to set you up with Gina, though.
here's what it is, and let's deal with it. And it's still.
I've never said this before. Roger, please go back into the closet. You don't go back in. We don't want you out. Stay in there. Please go back in.
Or at least nothing. So I'm saying $11 billion to go pick up rocks on Mars.
It's the on Mars part that's like really important there, okay? Because Mars is really, it's like, I don't think you understand how far away and how much of a pain in the ass it is to get to Mars. You know how many people have gotten to Mars? None. It hasn't happened yet, okay? And the guy who seems to be closest is a horror of a human being.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think Roger's kind of jealous.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I want to go to Mars, but I want to come back. I'm not sure Elon wants to come back, and I'm totally okay with that.
I'm totally okay with that.
I don't think he's jealous of the getting to go to Mars. It's the money that he's jealous of.
Well, I mean, I'm also jealous of that. I mean,
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
would I rather
think
have 11 billion or not have 11 billion? I definitely rather have 11 billion.
I mean, I would totally like help crowdfund $11 billion to send like 1% of Americans to Mars.
Yeah.
And I think we'd get off cheap.
Yeah, honestly, 11 billion, it seems like a lot, but of our as far as like our total government funding, like a total amount of dollars in our system, it's not a great deal. I would imagine there's a
You just
lot of things that are way sillier that we spend more than that on, like giving tax
Yeah.
subsidies to
That that
people
wouldn't
who are
even work
already
though.
extremely rich. Like I know Elon Musk gets like 18 billion in government subsidies, even though he's the richest fucking person on the planet. So 11 billion to actually move science forward, I'm not even going to sneeze at that. That's not going to upset me.
yeah,
Not while we're wasting that much money
to get
on
our
like,
biggest welfare
you know,
queens off the planet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just to be that guy for a moment,
Oh fuck.
$11
You're
billion dollars for the top 1% is like $300 a person. Okay, so it's very unrealistic.
you heard the man.
Yeah. No, wait. 3,000. Sorry, $3,000 a person.
Damn it.
Still
No.
very cheap, okay?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'd
Yeah, and
still find it, but like the 300 was looking way better.
Maya, yeah, well,
Okay,
yes,
play button.
but
Play
Maya,
button.
remember,
Play button.
hold on, this is important. You can use the funds of the people that you're sending to Mars, right? Like, it's the top 1%. That, like, you can go into debt, and then at the end of it, you're
Yeah. Then
way out
everybody's
ahead.
happy. No,
Yeah.
no, I didn't say
Well,
no deal. I just said
they
I'd
aren't,
be
but
no. Well, they would be unhappy. Yeah, and it'd probably be not be a good deal for them. But I mean, 1%.
hold on. I gotta make sure I'm not in the top 1% anymore.
Oh God, will you please hit the
they got
goddamn
10,
play
15,
button?
20 years. I don't know what they're talking about. Now, Elon Musk wants to go to Mars. I think he should be able to deal with this reality of what is this Mars. Mars is loaded with biology, which means I understand where the minerals and the metals and all this stuff is going to be up there. This is not just silly. I understand all this stuff.
He does not. He does not. Man, I'm pretty sure what a 5-year-old understands eclipses anything Roger understands.
I mean, he's basically literally saying, trust me, bro, right now.
Yes.
I mean, it's that
I'm
part of the
the
video.
best at understanding.
Yeah. Nobody understands as good as me.
Yeah.
He has the best brain with the best words.
And nobody else does. At this point,
and nobody else
Nobody
does.
There's no geologist that I have talked to that
this I will agree with.
has any ability to understand any of this stuff.
No
It's just like, "Oh,
geologist that
happened
he
because
has
of
ever
this. Oh,
talked
it's
to
sort of-"
has any ability to understand any of this. Okay, are you sure
Yep.
that it wasn't an inability to understand it so much as an ability to understand how fucking stupid it is?
Exactly. The ability
No
to
linguist
recognize...
has the ability to understand this. Slip to Flappy Rappy and a carpal tunnel pudding flanker, Nabble and a Stampy and a pigeon smelling generator, chitlin wafers, chocolate buttered horses at. No linguist can understand this. I'm very good at understanding this. No linguist that I've talked to understands this. Genius.
Was that a quote,
Wow.
or are you able to just do that? Genuine question, because like a consistent stream of nonsense words is actually hard to do.
So I played Dungeons and Dragons.
He is totes a linguist.
Yes.
He's a cunning linguist. That's true. Yes.
So I played Dungeons and Dragons, and there's a monster in Dungeons and Dragons called the Gibbering Mouther, and part of their description is that they just spew, verbal nonsense like that.
Does
so
it have
I
a
actually
picture of
practiced
Witsit or Ken Wheeler? Are either of those on
kind
there?
of. It's like a gross fleshy ball with mouths and eyes and other
more
orifices.
Ken Wheeler than it is Witsit. I shouldn't do that. That's body shaming.
That's igneous, that's metamorphic, that's lava, that's magma, that's and then they give a name to every kind of a fossil.
Yeah.
And they call it, that's all.
He said nobody understands it, and then he quotes a geologist understanding it, explaining what it actually is, and why his ideas about it are bullshit. That, oh my god,
No,
the
they're just
lack of
making up.
self-awareness there, mind blowing.
Exact. Yeah.
Oh man,
It's just, yes, that's not, that was never meat, that was never fascia.
What is this? This is even more of a boring rock than the other one. Right? Like, what, I can't even remember. Like, we remember the names of Roger's rocks. That's Caesar Augustus. Okay, at the bottom right of your screen is Caesar Augustus. There's another one that he hasn't shown that is definitely, he thinks it's a lung. It's just he thinks it's a lung, and it's his lung rock. Okay, this is. I'm pretty sure I've seen him show this rock before, and I cannot remember what it is.
Is that the ball joint?
It's just a rock. It's the most generically rocky rock that ever rocked.
Yeah.
Yes, that's,
What?
that's not, that was never meat, that was never fascia. This was, I'm sure it's magma.
What part of that looks like meat or tissue or fascia or anything? It's not. That's not igneous. That's not igneous rock as far as I can tell. So like it probably wasn't magma, but I think that's probably like, I don't know what it is. Shale.
I have no
boring rock
idea.
stuff. Maybe
It's
lime.
like a rock. I don't know.
It's the most boring rock.
Time to stop this nonsense. I'm sorry, I'm just getting very frustrated, and I'm getting more and more vocal until some people start to step up, and I'm hearing it. I'm hearing them stepping up, but
What are you talking about?
until we can stop this nonsense of funding the people that just are echoes of what they wanted to hear, and that's what they want to hear.
Please fund this show so that we can keep doing this, okay? You should send a super chat right now.
Here is what somebody else said, and then you just add a little fluff to here, a little fluff there. We'll give you another few $1 million and make it look like we're real smart and we're doing all this fancy stuff, and we'll get a bunch of awards for you, and there'll be a plaque you put on a wall, and everybody will think you're a genius. Well, that's okay. You can be a genius. I don't care. But as long as you look at this, and then let's see what your genius tells you what it is. I say that's a heart.
I know you do.
That's almost impossible.
Was he pointing at this one?
Who knows?
Hey, that's a heart.
Yeah, he was pointing at that one. That doesn't look like anything. That looks like
It.
Like a-
Yeah. I mean,
a cyst.
I don't know. Maybe an asteroid. I mean, you could.
It is an asteroid. That's what that is. That's
Okay,
an asteroid.
cool. All right.
it is actually.
I was like,
an
yeah,
asteroid.
you
I'm
could
pretty
totally
sure.
convince me it's an asteroid.
I'm-
But like,
I'm pretty sure. I didn't actually fact check this part thoroughly, but I'm pretty sure that's an asteroid.
okay.
So-
Roger's very, very jealous. He's really envious that nobody's calling him a genius. You can just go out and buy it, Roger.
I mean,
you can get
the
a
man.
plaque that says Roger is super smart. I mean, nobody else will recognize that you're a genius, but you can declare yourself one. I mean, I think you're probably going to have to, because nobody else is going to declare you that. Yeah, he's really upset, Professor Parks.
Yeah, no, he like very butthurt that every time he calls around to different colleges trying to get different geologists to talk to him, and inevitably he gets blocked, and it pisses him off like nobody's business.
Those aren't the people that he should be trying to contact. He should be trying to contact people like me, or Professor Parks, or Austin Sims. Or Maya won't.
Don't
Maya
tell
won't
this guy to
return your
contact
Oh
call.
me.
no,
What the
no! I will fire
Stop
my
that.
receptionist if she lets him
Bad.
through.
Bad,
I don't-
Latino police.
I don't mean like at work. I just mean like privately at your home.
No, I'm following a restraining
No.
order. How did you get my number? But
Yeah.
yeah, he should definitely call you. I think Professor Parks would be a great person for him to call. But like,
You should call me just so I can mess with him. I would be like aggressively credulous. I'd be like, "Wow, no way, Roger, really? Oh my god, it's a brain? Whoa, dude, my mind is blown." Okay, that's great. Bye. Click. You know?
in fairness, he probably hears that every day from his
Yeah.
like sycophants. It's the comment section is disturbing.
Yeah.
Professor Parks, you should reach out to him. If you
actually
would love
might,
to talk
yeah,
to him, like you should reach out. He might do that. I don't like. I've never seen him ever have a conversation like publicly with anybody else, so maybe he doesn't agree to that because I feel like some people have to have tried, right? Like
it feels like that, yeah. Like there must have been like a surely a Professor Dave or somebody has been like come to my channel. Like so many people know about him.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
you should reach out, Professor Parks. I have thought about it, but I'm also like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, you know? Do it.
All right.
Yeah, with how meandering his train of thought is, I don't think a conversation would be very productive.
I mean,
It will probably be all over the
It depends on what you're trying to produce.
Exactly. It really does. Because like if you're trying to persuade him that mud fossils aren't a thing,
Never in a million years.
That's not gonna happen.
Nope.
You can possibly get him to stream it so that you can talk his idiot followers out of it. That would be a attainable goal. Or if you would like him to come to your channel so that you could ridicule him mercilessly so that you can gain a bunch of views and more followers, that would be an obtainable goal. But trying to get him out of this,
it's not happening.
Yeah, I think he's gone. We've lost him.
It's very rare that people that are really into like that level of sort of wackadoodle stuff ever come out of it.
Yeah.
It happens occasionally, but not at Roger's level, actually. I'm not aware of any examples, really.
Right, yeah. There's maybe a few.
There are flat earthers who could come out of it, but he has a whole like theory of history that is just obviously not true. It's
I mean, it's really hard to get like the head grifter out of it. Nearly impossible. I mean, even
yeah.
When I'm talking to people about like apologetics, when people were talking, like there's still a lot of debate in the community about whether it was valuable or not for Bill Nye to have the debate with Ken Ham. And I think yes. I think thinking that the goal was to talk Ken Ham out of it, like I don't think that was his goal. I really don't think that was his goal. I think his goal was
it wasn't.
Yeah. And so people are, but that's what people will say. It's just like, trying to convince, Ken Ham. And I'm like, I honestly don't believe that was his goal. And because, it would be stupid to think that. But if you're trying to reach the people that follow him, and he did, there are people on YouTube, like Professor Stick was one of them. And like, there's been like 5 or 6 people who said, that was either a turning point or the last straw. When they actually saw the debates side by side. So yeah, when it's about what you're trying to do. What I talk to people about is having realistic goals when you have a debate. And especially now, since the country's taken this odd turn, um, if you're going to talk to people, my stance personally is that you don't bring them onto your platform so that they're like crazy people can find our channels. You go to theirs so that you can turn them. You don't bring them here to torture us. um, and if
No,
they,
no, honey, she's not talking about you.
and yeah, I mean, you have to have realistic goals. Like, you're not converting a Witsit, you're not converting some unmentionables that are so bigoted they need not be named. But what you're trying to do is, they have quite a few followers that stay in their echo chambers, and the only
Yeah.
time they come out of those echo chambers are to follow them to debates, where they can hear like rational ideas. And so I don't know. I understand that a lot of
Yeah.
people think debates are not a good idea. I've seen them be helpful. I don't think they're
Yeah.
a lost cause. I just think there's a way to handle them.
I pick up what you're putting down. I have 2 points. The first point would be that I think probably a large portion of Roger's followers know he's an idiot and follow him precisely because he's an idiot and because the things he says are so outrageous that it raises nerds like me and Vandy's blood pressure, and that is amusing to them. And the
That's
other
optimistic.
thing, second
It's
point,
amusing to me too,
is that
frankly.
is like, yes, you can kind of deprogram and convince people, but it's very difficult to do it ethically. The ways that people used to deal with that kind of thing effectively were very unethical. Like, and that was things like isolating people from their cult,
Hmm.
putting them in a padded cell and flogging them,
Hmm.
or
Well,
intellectually,
no, no, no. We're just talking
vehemently.
about exposing people
Yeah,
to
yeah,
good
yeah,
ideas.
for
And
sure.
I want to
Yeah,
say, almost all, unless you're a natal atheist, if you're in this community, you most likely weren't, and you were open to hearing, um, facts against your
yeah,
religion. And, well, you were committed more to facts than to the religion. And you know, once you heard those, to a convincing degree, you left the church. I don't think that it's wholeheartedly different than, oh, yeah, and there's a lot of people who used to be young earthers and flat earthers, and, uh, they used to be in the, whatever. And they, are here for all sorts of reasons. Well, because they heard facts. And so we're talking more about that, and not necessarily, oh God, propagandistic techniques to persuade people out of beliefs or into beliefs. Um, I think science does a good job of standing on its own. It's just trying to get those bad habits, get people away from their bad habits that are keeping them away from believing facts.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm mostly just trying to be funny. That didn't
yeah.
work.
All
It
right,
helps that
Austin, who are you? Where are you? And what do you have coming up this week?
um, I'm Austin Sims. I'm at the YouTube channel Creationism Super Thesis Guy. I've got a show that I do weekly featuring Ian Chen called Evidence: The Evolution Show, where we talk about all the different evidence supporting evolution, because I told Kent Hovind in my debate with him that there's so much evidence supporting evolution that I could talk about it for the rest of my life and still not cover all of it. So I put my money where my mouth is, and we're actually doing it. So there should be a new episode of that coming out on Sunday, probably.
When did you talk to Hovind?
I did a debate with him in December of last year.
Oh my God. How did that wait, is that on your
Yeah.
channel?
Yeah, I live mirrored it on my channel.
Okay. Yeah, I refuse to watch anything with him in it, but like what's your critique? How did it go?
I think it went really well, but it was less about the actual substance of the debate and was
Mhm.
more about manipulating Kent using interrogation and narcissistic uh, tactics for manipulating a narcissist. So like before the debate started, I really kind of blew a bunch of smoke up his ass and told him what an expert he was and all these different sciences and how I couldn't hope to beat him in a debate. And then I wiped the floor with him. But he probably didn't even realize I was doing it because I did it
No.
very sarcastically. He thought I was sincerely complimenting him when I was actually calling him a dumbass very sarcastically.
Have you seen Ian Chen officials debate with Ken?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
one of my
Ian
favorites.
comes on my channel to talk about evolution a lot. He is one of my
Oh,
favorite YouTube guys.
Ian
We collaborate a lot.
Ian's interactions with Ken Hovind are
Yeah,
hilarious.
absolutely. Couldn't
Uh
ask for a better coach.
yeah, Ian. I'm gonna try to get Ian on here one day soon. And
For sure.
the chat seems to think that you need to wear a toque.
What is a toque?
Exactly. Exactly. That's the only proper response to that.
A toque is a beanie.
Is
It's the
that what?
thing
Beanie,
that Kip
Okay.
always
a
wears.
beanie is a beanie. God, speak American.
I have this nice long hair. That's my head accessory. I think it covers it pretty well.
Yeah, you know what? We should get him and DC on here to have like a hair off. Like, holy shit, that is is amazing. Can you do that again one more time before we get out of here?
There you go.
All right,
Ladies.
man. I wish I could. Mine doesn't get that long. This is as long as it gets. I haven't cut this in 5 years. It's as long as it gets. I'm just
Oh my
saying.
God. Well, somebody, okay, guys, I'm gonna get him a box of tissues. And we will see all of you next week. Bye.